unfortunate and profound.
Mm-hmm.
It's a story I don't think I've heard before. I know it
Really?
exists,
Yeah.
but it's not something that, I've been privy to, even though
Yeah.
I think for survival, we tend to sometimes damper or hold in who we are just to get through that day. And it does a
Definitely.
disservice to ourselves and others because it's like, I can't fully be me.
Yeah, definitely.
And that I think that story applies to all kinds of things, honestly.
For sure. Yeah, it can apply to being in the closet. It can apply to being a person of color. It can apply to being a lot of, yeah, a lot of different things.
And it
Sorry, I'm a little
feels like
distracted. My cat is
you're
reaching
fine.
under the door.
That's
He's trying to
fine.
get to me.
That's fine. But it feels like you've been supported growing up to be whatever you desired to be. Is that
Definitely, yeah.
okay? Because I get
My
that vibe.
parents are they're my dad's not so much. My mom is pretty strict. She's a little perfectionist, and that kind of translated over to my schoolwork. So I always felt a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that she just wanted the best for me, but it did
Right.
cause a lot of friction with us
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't need to have the best grades in the world to do what I wanted to do, for sure.
Right.
You know,
Right.
especially when I was little and I wanted to be a famous singer, like every little kid does.
Yes.
I didn't need to have the best grades in the world for that. I needed to be in choir all the time, 24/7, practicing, practicing. Um,
Wow.
and, I'm glad for that push now because, of course, it's getting me into these great schools that I wouldn't have gotten into without the grades that I
Mm-hmm.
have. But it did cause a lot of friction between us growing up, for sure. And we're just kind of just starting to rebuild that relationship because I was very rebellious as a teenager, and she had no
Mm-hmm.
idea how to handle me. Because, of course, I'm the oldest in my family of four
Mm-hmm.
kids.
Okay.
Yeah, and the only female.
Oh. Okay.
Um, yeah, and so it was always pretty rough, especially when I started exploring my gender and sexuality,
Mm-hmm.
because they had no idea how to handle that at all.
Yeah.
they
That
were
makes
they were
sense.
very nervous about that, and of course they're Baptist, so it was not something that they were taught was okay either.
Right.
So
It's a lot of layers there.
there were lots of layers, lots and lots and lots.
But I think as we age and become who we feel we're meant to be, parents kind of start being like, okay, I see, I don't get it, but I see that, you're figuring yourself out, and I'm just gonna
Uh-huh.
write it out with you
Yeah. I think
and
we're
see what
still struggling with the write it out with you aspect. Um,
mm,
but they don't fight with me about it anymore, which is nice for sure.
I feel like it's levels. It's like, okay, I'm gonna
There are
listen,
levels.
accept, try to understand, and then hopefully it progresses to writing with you.
Definitely. Definitely. And
At
I'm
least
lucky to
trying.
I'm lucky to have a family who didn't just throw me out on the street, because there are
Oh,
tons of kids whose families will do that. And
yes.
my heart breaks for them.
Yes. I have friends and family members, so I know the lower vibrational responses and some of the supportive ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I'm just trying to soak everything in. So you're a comedian, you
Yes.
are part Cherokee,
Hmm.
person of color, non binary,
Yep.
and and a psychologist, or to be, but
To
you have
be,
your
yes.
degrees. You have your degrees. Have you worked in any of that or dabbled in it?
I haven't actually done anything professionally with it. That
Mm-hmm.
said,
Okay.
when I was in college, I did have a lot of experiences with um like just a lot of hands-on experiences. I want to
Mm-hmm.
say they were in semi-professional settings, but they never really
Mm-hmm.
were full-on professional. I was never getting paid. There were a lot of volunteer things and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things that were just class requirements.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But even then, it was I did have a lot of hands-on experiences. So I definitely feel prepared to go into that
Mm-hmm.
world as soon as I get my degrees and just jump right in.
And what
And I'm very excited about it as well.
what made you choose psychology?
Sorry, what was that?
What made you decide psychology was it?
Um, I took a class in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and before that, I had, I was 18. 18-year-olds have no idea what they want to do. They're applying for colleges
For
with
sure.
absolutely no plan
I
except go
had
to
no
college and
idea.
get a job.
Yeah, I
And
had no idea.
I was
Mm-hmm.
so terrified of all of that. And then my last
Mm-hmm.
semester of high school, I took AP psychology,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the very last class of my day on my B schedule day. So like we had A
Mm-hmm.
schedule, B schedule day. And it was it was like the last class. It was my eighth period class. And
Mm-hmm.
I fell in love with it. I was always looking forward to going. I always rushed back from lunch just to get to that
Mm-hmm.
class. My one of my best friends from high school was in that class with me, and he
Mm-hmm.
sat right behind me because our names were in alphabetical order. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and we just both of us were just so fascinated by that class and so in love with everything that it taught us. And I decided I am going to do this for a job. I am going to help people. I am going to learn about the brain, and I'm going to be a brain doctor. So
That's
that's
really,
what I
really
did.
cool.
Whenever I first started college, I decided that I wanted to be a forensic psychologist, which is like what they do on
Mhm.
Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
Um, but I was minoring in criminal justice, and it
Mm-hmm.
was just depressing.
Mm.
Because I was one of those people that wanted to go into the criminal justice system and fix it from the inside out. And,
Mm.
I mean, there are so many
Yeah.
problems with the criminal justice system, and
Yes.
I wanted to change it all. And
Mm.
I quickly realized that that was not going to happen. And
Right.
I was so depressed for my second semester of college and then my
Mm-hmm.
whole third and fourth semester of college that I finally just dropped it and decided to do um, kinesiology as my minor instead, which was such a bizarre choice for me because I had never
Explain what
been
that is.
what
Kinesiology?
kinesiology. It's like the study of the body, the study of the
Okay.
movement of the body.
Okay.
So it's sports. It's sports. It's the study of sports, basically.
Okay. All
And
right.
I had never been sporty. I didn't do sports. I played
Mm-hmm.
volleyball for like a year in elementary school.
In
I was not
elementary.
a sports person. And
Right.
so whenever I started doing that, I was like, why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Why did my brain lead me to this? And I enjoyed the absolute heck out of it. I loved it. It was one of the best things that I've ever done. Because learning about how my body moves was just, again, so
Fascinating.
fascinating to me. And I
Yes.
realized that I could apply all of that to psychology about a
Mm.
semester into minoring in that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then I went, oh, now I see what I'm doing here. you know.
Mm.
And so I decided my senior year of college that I want to open like a camp for kids that teaches them how to cope using sports and using bodily
Oh,
movements
that's
and
so
that kind of thing.
awesome.
Yeah,
I
so I'm
love
really
that.
excited about that because I felt the best I had ever felt doing all of these sports things my last 2 years of
Mm-hmm.
college.
Yes.
And of course, I've fallen out of that routine since then. And of course, I've gained so much weight and I feel blah
Story
all the
time,
time.
right? Yeah.
but but I know for a fact that it's because I stopped working out, and
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact that it's because my brain craves the the release that comes from movement and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a high.
Um,
I
and
agree.
yeah, and knowing that I can help little kids learn to cope using those things,
Yes.
especially little kids who are dealing with trauma and little kids who are dealing
Yes.
with ADHD and autism
Mm-hmm.
and all the kind of things that cause kids to be fidgety,
Right.
and have all this excess energy. I want to
To
teach them how
channel
they
it.
can use their body movements to help them,
Yeah.
rather than be a distraction or a hindrance.
That's so beautiful.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's just it goes together because you're happier when you're in movement. At least I know I
Definitely.
can relate to you in saying that
Yeah.
when
And
I'm
a
not
lot of people, of
moving.
course, yeah, a lot of people have trouble getting to the movement part. So I don't want to
Right.
say, well, it's just as easy as exercising. It's not. It's
No,
not that easy.
it's
Of
not.
course, it's not. But if you can get yourself to exercise, I'd recommend getting to exercise. And if you can't, do what you can, you know,
Right. Right.
because it is hard. And I totally get that because I've been there. But
Mm-hmm.
also, it does make you feel better. And there are chemical releases in your body whenever you can get to that point that help your brain feel better.
And so I wonder how it would positively affect a brain that's growing that hasn't been
I mean,
fully.
there are studies that say that it does help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's the reason we still have PE in schools. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's good for your mind and your body. So,
Mm-hmm. Wow. This has been a fascinating conversation.
I'm
I'm just
glad
like
I can be
I'm just
fascinating
soaking it
because,
all in.
yeah, a lot of the time I think I just ramble too much, but I'm glad that I'm fascinating.
No, I can be very quiet, so I enjoy people who ramble.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with being talked to. So
talked at.
talked to, talked at, it depends how you view it.
Hmm.
So we have a multi-dimensional person. I appreciate your time and coming
Thank
on
you.
here. Where can everyone find you?
I would recommend the Sinister Parent Company Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I remember the Sinister Parent Company Twitter?
I'll add
No,
it to the show
because
notes.
um, I think, hang on, I think I've got it right here because I am signed into it.
Okay.
Um, it is, I'm sorry. While
You're
I'm
fine.
looking for it,
Mm-hmm.
my personal Twitter is G_the_B,
Mm-hmm.
like bee buzzing, because I think I'm funny. And
Apparently you
then,
are.
yeah, apparently. And then you can also find me at Good Idea Cast, which is one of the podcasts that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can find me at the Sinister Parent Company Twitter, which is at Sin Parent Co.
Okay.
And that's the social media that I'm on the most. So if you want to
Mm-hmm.
find me, it would be on Twitter.
Okay. So I am grateful and happy